Sawadee Namaskar. Hello everyone. Welcome you all to Women Leadership in Rubber Industry, the journey. This is a special program by Technobase, which we focus on the women leadership. And today's episode is also very interesting person, well experienced, legend in the latex industry, Madam Ling Ka Chan. People call her Madam Chris Pong. So we will have a nice conversation with Madam Chris Pong on her journey, and what she been through for last, actually, she started her career before I born. I celebrate my 50th.
Oh no, you're telling them my age.
Well, you are the legend. So we will have a conversation with Madam Chris Pong and about her journey. She's currently the president of Plastics and Rubber Institute Malaysia. Before I let her, we have a conversation. Let me quickly introduce to you about Technobase and a short video presentation on the Technobase video. Okay, so you can have understanding about what is Technobase, what kind of activities Technobase organize. Yeah? Let's have a look at the video. I hope that you guys are able to see the video. Some people have a problem with watching, getting the video to be seen. Okay, so let's dive into the today's session with Madam Chris Pong about her journey. What's all about 50 plus years in the industry as yeah. So, and I don't want to ask her what is her age now, but you can imagine, okay, what's all about, you know, how old she would be. I already told you she started much before I born. Okay, so her career. Madam Chris, thank you very much for joining the session today. And also, we want to know about your journey and what kind of experiences you've been through, good things, difficult things, and also we like to take some advice from you, you know, for particularly with the reference to young people, you know, in the rubber industry. That is the objective of this session, and
I'll
you don't.
try.
Yeah, and you don't find many women leaders in the rubber industry. So I'm happy to have you in as part of this program and encourage more women as the leaders running the businesses in the rubber industry. Okay, so pleasure to have you, madam. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation.
Welcome, and I thank you for asking me because usually I'm at a shop floor, you know, I don't get to do this kind of thing. In fact, yours is probably the first one on the internet and online.
Yes, well, you know, that's why you are here. We want to know your journey. So all the action you did on the shop floor. Yeah. Okay. We go in this different issues. First, talk about your education. Okay, where you started before you get into the rubber industry. Can you talk about your education?
Okay, I mean, okay, it was before you were born, all right? So
Yes.
uh, actually, it's a very strange thing. I was just after my sixth form, which is what you call a higher certificate. I actually went to dentistry in Singapore University. But 3 months into that, I got this suddenly. I was offered a scholarship with by the Malaysian Rubber Board at that time. Uh, it was a very surprising thing because it was a program that were never told to us, but at school. But suddenly it came on, and I applied for it, and I was the only female that was actually picked.
Ah,
Uh, they had 2 years before that was all male, so this was the first time, and I was very very surprised. Okay, so that was the start of my journey in the year 1970. What the reason why I wanted to join this was because uh, after my form 5, I actually lived next to very close to this big factory called Rivertex
okay.
in Kluang. Yeah, I come from Kluang. So every day I was smelling this awful effluent smell, awful, you know. But strangely enough, it drew me to go there and see what the heck is this place all about. Why is it so smelly? But then they gave me, surprisingly, during my holidays, student work. So I earned 3 ringgit a day,
Ah,
frying to total solids content, okay, checking latex. So that was the real start. And since then, when MRB gave me the scholarship, I was really happy to take it. One, because I don't have to pay money to Singapore U. Secondly, this program was good because it's a very you might want to think about this and set it up, Param. It's a one
okay.
day full study from
Okay.
morning till night, and then
Ah,
4 days of working in the labs.
ah.
So that was one of the best. It's like it's not sandwich, but you had a full day's studies, and then with practical classes, and then
Mm-hmm.
of course you had 4 days of work in real life working experience experiment. So Yeah, so when they gave me this scholarship, I thought, oh, UK, yes, very good. But
Why
why
not?
UK? You know, it's like Malaysia was at that time the biggest producer of latex.
Yeah.
We go to UK to learn how to use it. Well, all right. At that time, I was too young to understand the politics, and so I went. Yeah, and it was really a great start to this special long life career. Actually, the place I went to was MRPRA. Do you know MRPRA?
Yeah,
Which
the
is a branch of RAPRA. Okay, it's the Malaysian
Rabra.
Rubber Producers Research Association. Now,
Hmm.
when I first went there, do you know what they told me? The people there, the first question or first statement they made to me, all these workers, and that was what pushed me.
Okay.
Oh no, they're sending girls now.
Hmm.
You see that? Oh
Ah,
no,
there
they're
is.
sending girls now, which means that they never had girls before. So when I heard that, there was a real challenge.
Yeah.
I will do whatever you ask me to do, and I will do better. So
Yeah.
that was the great start to the career there. And I had an opportunity, things that I think most people would never have a chance to do it.
Hmm.
I actually mixed carbon black in an open mill. Have you done that before?
Once,
You know,
yes,
open
yes,
mill, you go
yes.
in all clean, you come out like gollywog.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Everything was black. But the interesting thing was that it was fun. It was fun. And I never had that experience anywhere else again. So carbon black open mill. Many, many issues, but never mind. Yeah. And
So
more important that I was
how long
very
you were
thankful.
in UK?
Sorry?
How many years you were in UK?
For the master badges?
No, no, the program, your UK
Yes.
scholarship, Malaysia Rubber Board scholarship.
Ah,
How
yes.
long you stayed there in UK?
4 years.
Four
4 years.
years. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So,
So that was a good thing. You know it's all basic chemistry. So the
oh.
first 2 years was honing in our organic chemistry, physical chemistry, and then the
Mm,
last 2 years was in rubber technology and
mhm, mm.
latex technology. So we were a full 4 years of learning just basically chemistry in rubber.
Uh-huh.
So that was good. Yeah. So
And
my time with MRPRA was actually the real learning cycle where I worked under Tom Pendle, worked under
okay.
Tony Gordon. These are real famous names in latex gloves, natural rubber gloves at that time. You know, they were really the experts in the
Mhm.
field. Yeah. So I learned a lot from them. Yeah.
Yeah. In your
That was.
group, only you are the one woman, or any other people also there? Are there
Oh yes, yes.
more?
We had three other. There were seniors the year before me, also
Uh-huh.
there, and then the people who went with me were were in the end they were classmates. Classmates. In the end, they became director of RI, that sort of thing. So they were really also well grounded in that sense. But we had a very tough time, Param.
Hmm.
When we first went there, every morning we were running for the trains because we were staying in London and we had to go out to MRPRA in Welling Garden City. So it was run, run, run all the time and standing in the cold in winter. It was tough, but it was fun. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those memories were really good for me. Yeah. So,
So yeah,
uh,
let's talk about your education in UK. You said that there is a lot of practical work, right? A lot of
mhm,
practice. Yeah.
mm.
I don't think we have that much now in our part of the world. No? Less practice in the classrooms, right?
Yeah. So
There is
you don't, you don't see, sorry, what did you say? You
what
don't
I'm in your experience in UK. There is a lot of practical work. You work on the
practical. Yeah.
machinery, yeah, right?
So
But in our now we don't have that much practical work in our learnings.
why would you say that?
In the degree programs, right? Because a lot more focus on the classroom, yeah, less on the, compared to the practical work. Is it right? Maybe we have only 1 year and the training program, 3 months program, the industry training, yeah. So how was the experience there at the time in UK in terms of learnings?
Yeah, it's okay. Fair enough. Now, if you're talking about the college days,
Yeah,
obviously those are very short practical learning, but the real learning was actually at the workplace.
yeah, that's
The
of
four
course.
days of
Yes.
working place, and that one we were guided by mentors. We had very good, we were basically lab technicians, but we were not expected to be clever or whatever. We just had to learn new things,
Yeah,
and that was actually the real learning cycle. Not so much the one day at college, which
yeah.
grounded us in chemistry more than anything else. Yeah.
Mhm.
So your
So,
program, if you do something like this, will really have to look at how to marry the two.
mm, yeah, it's important. Yeah. So, when did you come back from UK?
Oh, 75. Immediately, I got a job with Rivertex again.
Or near to
Okay,
your
so that
home?
is the real professional start. Now, let me tell you something interesting about Rivertex at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Rivertex was the biggest producer of natural rubber pre-vulcanized latex. You
yeah.
know, they had MR, RR, and then M, high modulus HR. And this was used a lot in balloons, not very big in gloves, a bit in catheters. So basically, what I was exposed to when I went back there was fantastic. The first assignment, I was already sent out. After 3 months, I was sent out to Manila, carpet
Mhm.
backing,
Oh, okay.
to commission the product developed by Rivertex, which is the basic latex SBR. It's actually a SBR latex foam, which underlay, carpet underlay. And we had to go and run this thing and make a success. So that you could call my first milestone. Yeah, so we were very successful that way. My
Mm,
mentor came out from Rivertex UK and we
mm,
worked together on this. I was just a fantastic newbie, but it was a golden opportunity. Yeah. So that was the first thing that we did actually. So
so,
after that, in fact, it was a very short 9 months only. And
mm,
I still remember the big boss telling me, Chris, why are you leaving us? Actually, I
ah,
left to go and do my master's in the university science.
mhm,
And what's important about this part of my learning was that I was asked to lecture while I was doing my master's. I was asked to do lectures in latex. So now you can see how the whole, career line has been always learning something while I'm doing something else. Yeah, so that is important. Yeah. So when I finished my master's, immediately that's when the real start of it of my career. Oh, but I got
mhm.
to tell you something. When I was with Rivertex, Rivertex not only just do Preval latex. They do a lot of synthetic latex for paints,
Yeah,
acrylics, and
mhm,
vinyl acetates.
yeah.
Now, my learning from that one is not educational, is how the customers did not like female technical officers
Ah,
because
okay,
they were mainly Japanese.
okay.
So I felt very slighted most of the time when I
Ah,
went to visit them. Yeah, so this is something that pushed me along. Why am I being rejected just because I'm a female? That sort of thing.
mhm.
Yeah. So that pushed me along. Yeah. Okay.
And you become more stronger, yeah?
Yes. Yes. In
Very,
willpower. In
yes.
willpower.
Okay. So you back to work at Rivertex, or you after finishing your masters?
Yes. Yes. In applied science,
Mm.
and well, it was sort of just to do something to do to add numbers to my add letters to my name, but it wasn't really helpful in that sense. Yeah. More important is the real work. Yeah. So
Right.
after my masters, I actually started work with London Rubber.
Oh,
You
okay.
heard of London Rubber? Yeah, they were
No.
household gloves. The first
Okay.
time they came out to Malaysia, this is in Kulim, in Kedah,
Uh-huh.
and another learning curve because that was the first time a factory actually set up a chemical effluent plant
Oh, okay.
instead of a normal aerobic, pond type exposed.
Mm,
This is totally enclosed, and it was
mm.
a eye opener. Wow, we can actually treat smelly waste,
So no, no more
totally
smell. Yeah.
differently. So that's another learning curve. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you say, all my life, and then all from that onwards it was development research. I did a lot of medical devices. I tried to work with Euromedical. I work
Mm-hmm.
with InMed. These are catheter people
Yeah.
on new products like disposable catheters, single-use disposable catheters. And again, it was. I thought I knew everything about latex, but seriously, um, when I try and do things there, now that's something that I got to share with you. Uh, what I learned from MRPRA and then subsequently at work is that whatever I do, any new development work I work on, I had to test it out myself.
Yeah.
Now, that is a philosophy that is uh, not easy to how do I say for especially for the female gender because you are not given the opportunity. You are always parked research, admin, rather than shop floor. So I had a completely different approach to my work. I said, whenever I develop a new product, I got to get it to the shop floor. I got to test it out myself, see that it works, and then I hand it over. And because of that attitude, Tan Sri Bisi Sekar,
Yeah.
he liked me so much. He said, Christine, come and work for me. So it was one of those great moments when I was recognized for this
Yeah.
attitude that where
Yeah.
I need to know everything at the shop floor rather
Mm.
than just everything at the lab. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask me, can I do a compound 30 kilos on a 60-inch mill? I said yes.
Okay.
Can I
Mm.
mold special moldings? Yes. I've done everything by
Yeah.
myself, tried before. Okay, so yeah, right.
So
Um,
when you work in the on the shop floor, what was the reaction from the operators?
oh, at first they were very skeptical. What is this woman coming to come and interfere with our work? But
Yeah.
when I explained to them that this is a new thing that I
Yeah.
want you to work with next time, so I'm making it easy for you
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
understanding the problems, how the
Yeah.
compound will behave on your churro mill, how it
Yeah.
will behave in the mold, and how it
Yeah.
will behave at the final stage. So
Yeah.
I understand that you get to use to do it easier. So that's how they proceed then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
And,
just
and, and, and
mentioned,
correct.
yeah, you just mentioned that you worked with Mr. B.C. Shekhar, the legend
Yes,
of Malaysian
yes.
rubber industry, probably a global rubber industry. Talk about him. How was your experience with
Whoa.
him?
As a big boss, I mean, his word is final. You know,
Okay.
you you cannot argue with him. You cannot debate with him. But he was also a close friend. I used to visit his house, and he would get his chef to cook
Hmm.
beautiful, meals for us,
Yeah.
me and my husband. So as a
Hmm.
friend, he's fantastic, and he's full of advice. His
Yeah.
advice were always so, set yourself goals, set yourself, do things that are different.
Hmm.
That's Tan Sri.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And how long you
Very
worked with him?
courageous.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How many years you worked with him, under him?
No, no, no. Because he was the big boss. He
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
comes into the factory every now
One
and then. I didn't work directly with him.
directly.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
was
But
so happy. actually encouraged me to join his factory, the team. So
I
that
see.
was the part that and then
Yeah.
of course, no, he was not my direct boss, no. And
Okay. Understood. But you had an opportunity
he had
to,
many portfolios. He was bosses of many different companies.
of course. Yeah. And tell me what happened next in your professional journey?
Okay. So talking about my professional
Yes.
thing.
So yeah.
Well, okay. So after all this InMed and Baxter, do you know Baxter?
Yeah. Baxter. Yeah.
Pharmacy. Yeah, they were one of the biggest exam glove factories. They decided to come and move, set up in the Penang,
Mm,
and I was their first technical manager
mm,
to run. And it was a very challenging job because the first time I hear of methanol being used in the coagulant,
okay.
right? And the first time I saw, or I worked with it, a huge line that has 6 formers, 3 on each side, and not rotatable, not
Mm,
movable. They weigh
mhm,
but the worst thing was that this particular process was so in its infancy that at stripping, it was manual stripping, and it was so hard for the laborers to do it. I
mhm,
felt so sorry. So maybe at that time, that was the time when we said, okay, let's try and change things.
mhm,
Yeah, well, the methanol technology, all this is from America. We could not change it, and then the equipment we
oh,
couldn't, it was not flexible to change.
mhm,
Yeah, but maybe egg stripping we could. That
mhm.
was about the only thing that we could change. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we did try to work new things, but I had to leave that Baxter after what 4 years,
Mhm,
because uh, if it would, in a sense, at that time fail ESG for sure, because we
yeah.
had runaway ovens, we had all sorts of OSHA issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just at that time that the beginning of glove, uh, where lots of people didn't understand the
Mm,
process
yeah.
limitations and actual requirements. So I
So a
left
lot
that,
of
but because of that experience, I took up a consultancy,
ah.
which is where Mr. Pong, he decided to say, oh, well, he was into this as well, because the glove equipment at that time were mainly imports from Taiwan.
Okay.
And the lines were very poorly designed based
Mhm,
on what we knew about latex glove manufacture. We learned
mhm,
it in the UK.
mm,
And we said, my goodness, the lines were so basic, so elementary, so inadequate. So he decided to say, I'm going to make made in Malaysia equipment.
mm,
So that's when he started. And of course, I had to help him in the sense of transferring that technology to all the new glove owners, factory owners. Incidentally, they were just rich fishermen, rich farmers that didn't know anything about glove, but because it was the business, at that time, money making business. So everybody wanted to have glove factories. We had so many, but they
yeah.
didn't last because obviously the technology and equipment was not uh,
Mm,
adequate to
mm,
be
mm,
sustainable. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'm telling you my life history.
Yeah. So that is the purpose of this session.
So the
So
idea is, as I talk, I hope that I can share with you the learnings that I have.
yes,
Okay?
of course.
And
That's what
the
is
next
objective.
stage was just as interesting. So after this consultancy thing, which obviously we learned that, you know, um, we were not enough. We didn't have enough technical understanding of how to be good at exam gloves production, because at that time it was such a popular thing. You just made rubbish and it was sold. Yeah. So quality was never an issue. That sort of thing. As long as you have QA, you have some sort of system in place, you apply for your 510K, whatever, you are done. You're okay. You know, we even had, I still remember one time working with Baxter, we were outsourcing from Taiwan. Taiwan was the original exam glove people. And when I went there to check their quality, guess what I saw? Make a small guess.
You know, what happened?
They were actually drying the gloves on hanging lines. Yes,
Oh,
I was so shocked. They were drying their gloves in the sun like clothes, you know,
oh,
hanging from clothes lines and on the floor. Of course, they were our suppliers, so I didn't have the heart to tell them that that wasn't the way to go. So
yeah.
you can imagine in the beginning how elementary exam gloves were produced, quality bad, they were never bleached, nothing. So, but we
Mm-hmm.
still use them, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
was natural rubber. That's why this issue of, you know, dermatology problems, you know, allergies came about from that first round of gloves,
Mm-hmm.
which nobody knew had to be bleached. Nobody
Yeah,
asked to be bleached. Yeah.
yeah.
So in a way, it wasn't the fault of the gloves. It's just the customers never asked for it,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't know enough to say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, these extractables had to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay, so never mind. That's another passing thing. So after this consultancy, we decided to migrate to Melbourne.
Wow. Okay. So you went to Australia also, yeah?
For the sake of the children, all right, as we
Okay.
always say as parents.
Mhm.
And there, another spectacular learning, I managed to work as a technical officer, research officer with ICI.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Huh.
Yes, paints people, surfactant
Right.
and paint. But in this case, Melbourne was paints,
Yeah.
architectural paints, as well as surface coatings
Mm-hmm.
for metal-based products, metal-based
Mm-hmm.
products.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I was actually put in there because, again, when you go into something new like this, where the people have no experience with foreign workers or foreign graduates or foreign, they found it very difficult to accept what we know
Oh,
or what we can contribute.
oh.
So, in a sense, they were wary of us. They were
Mm-hmm.
wary of, you know, what is what can these people do? Are they going to be our threat to us and better than
Mm-hmm.
us or not as good? They don't know
Mm-hmm.
us. They are very cautious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Mm-hmm.
get that. I get that. Or I got that when I went there. I get this,
Mm-hmm.
not so welcoming scene, but at the same time they had to accept us because we
Yeah.
were workers, co-workers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
But what happened over there was I had the experience of making latexes using the emulsion polymerization. Now, I never had that experience anywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
this is basic chemistry right down to the core.
Yeah.
Making latex from the start. And it was such a fantastic experience because I happened to manage just the second milestone
Mm-hmm.
to show them how to raise the productivity of producing so latex, doubled it. So they were very appreciative after my 8 years there. I got promoted to senior, and we had a very interesting exposure to high speed coating. Now this one
Okay.
is solvent
Mm-hmm.
based, but very high speed.
Mm.
I had a chance to visit Alcoa, which is Coca-Cola, making
Yeah.
Coca-Cola cans.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, they were switching from solvent based to water based
Mm-hmm.
coatings, and the speed was so high. It was incredible line just to see the operation of every stage all built in. That was the start of my convincing that exam gloves can also be done in many stages, all
Right.
on one line. Yeah. Okay, so that was a good learning. So, and then finally, when I came back, I was asked to go and join Kimberly Clark in Thailand.
So how long you lived in Australia with at ICI? How many
Oh,
years?
from about 9 years.
Okay, you lived in
Yeah, first just
Australia
making
for
latex.
okay.
Latex is for application for architectural painting for poly. Well, we also make polyester powders for how do you say for big white goods doors and all that, so that
Mm,
you know
mm,
get transferred onto the doors. There's another
mm,
technology,
mm.
and then onto solvent based high speed
Yeah,
can coatings,
yeah,
tuna coatings. I
yeah.
mean tuna can coatings. And I tell you a
Mhm.
secret, something that is really interesting. You know how we test uh, the barrier properties of an inside food can.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so we will prepare the coating, we will coat the cans. We actually have to go to a fabricator, get our
Yeah,
sheets coated,
yeah.
fabricated. But the testing bit was we had to use cat food. Cat food
Okay.
was cat food. Why cat food? Because it had the highest sulfur content.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
are feeding your cats with canned food, now they think twice, okay? Think twice because it had the highest sulfur content that will attack the coating. So
Oh,
we
okay.
autoclave, we seal the whole thing and then we autoclave for
Mm-hmm.
so many hours, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the test. And then we open it up, we check what
Mm-hmm.
is the reaction to the coating. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
whether
Yeah.
it's still barrier, 100% barrier.
Mm.
So it was a very, very terrible
Okay.
test because it stank like crazy. When you open it, the whole lab stank.
Smart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sulfur. Yeah. So, yeah.
So that
And
was a very good session there. I actually got to attend night classes on
oh,
coatings. I spent a
okay.
full year getting my coatings technology diploma. So that was another side of it.
Oh,
That
so
was
you have many degrees, eh? You did masters also, then have a diploma, yeah. Okay.
well,
Many,
I was
many.
very fortunate that way, you know. I was already 45, the oldest student in the class, but still managed to get through the class
Ah,
and pass all my subjects. So that's not bad. Yeah,
yeah.
so that's good. So coming
So,
back to Malaysia and Thailand, I was because of my work before with these exam gloves, I made quite a few friends, and when they moved, when Kimberly Clark took over Safe Skin factories
yeah,
in Hat
yeah,
Yai,
yeah.
what happened was that they opened this new plant. They wanted a technical person to transfer technology
Hmm.
from the US to Thailand.
Okay.
And this is the one time when I want to tell everybody listening, this is the second most important thing I learned in the whole of my life career as a professional. When you transfer technology from some place like America or the West and expect it to work in a place like Thailand, you can scratch your head. You can spend hours and you can do hundreds of trials. I can guarantee you it will not work. And that was what we saw. Yeah, because what we know is that when the Americans or the Western researchers get their material, this is natural rubber, it is so old and aged and stable. So when they do all their tests there, it's a complete different base material starting point.
Hmm.
And then you come out to Thailand, yeah, where everything is fresh, at best 2 weeks old. Yeah, what happens? They behave completely differently. This is colloid science, colloid chemistry of latex. Variable, unpredictable, like a lady, okay? You need to be very, you need to pay a lot of attention to it.
Yeah.
Treat it like a lady and hopefully it behaves. Yeah. So this technology transfer effort was a total failure because we couldn't reproduce anything that they did in the States. And the States people, when they came out, all they did was saying we were not competent enough to to use their technology. But you know, when you try and explain, it's a little bit difficult on colloid behavior. So anyway, after 1 year, I was moved to group safety. You see how my life has been really fantastically changing. Group safety of 12,000 employees.
Wow. So
4
you are
mills.
total.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kimberly Clark had 4 mills in
Yeah.
Thailand, not one. I went in on one factory to do technology transfer, but at the end, I became group safety director, which was a new learning and a new fantastic milestone because I had to not only train and educate shop floor safety, OSHA. I had to convince leaders, the senior leaders, that this is important. And Kimberly Clark has always been number one in their care and concern for safety. Yeah. So when they came over and took over SafeSkin, their first priority was safety, in every sense of the word. Processes, equipment, people, environment. So that was how I managed to get so much learning from my peers in the States on safety.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. So when I decided that after that, when things were not so rosy, when they decided that safety was no longer the local management there, safety was no longer the biggest thing. Profit was. So I decided to retire and came back to Malaysia and joined PRIM gang. Okay.
So before we go to PRIM, you said you were in Thailand. How many years you were in Thailand?
4 5.
4 or 5. So do you speak some Thai?
Very short.
Do you speak some Thai language?
What? Sorry?
Do you speak some Thai? Did you learn some Thai?
When I was there, yes, I needed to, just to convince all my safety officers were Thai and they were wonderful people. So it was like a chicken and duck, trying to speak to each other, but they were very, very helpful. They tried to learn everything and I tried to, teach them some things because all our training materials were in English.
Yeah.
All from the States were in English, so it was a little bit difficult. But you know something? Let me tell you a secret. We had a lot of Malaysian managers.
Okay.
Imported from Malaysia to go and run the process there. Yeah. And within a year, their Thai was so fantastic. They spoke Thai like Thai. And I was amazed. I said, here I am 3 years down the road and still struggling. How did you manage? These are the male managers. They said they long had dictionaries.
Okay, yeah, we talk some.
I
Understood.
thought that was a very good expression.
Yeah.
Long had dictionaries. Okay. So I don't know, what was your life in the Thailand like when you were learning Thai?
Okay, we talk this matter later. Yeah, let's you back to this PRIM, right? Yeah, you back to Malaysia. Yeah, so you retired in Thailand and back to PRIM. What did you do in the beginning? What did you do at the PRIM?
Okay, so when I first came back, smack on, that was the time when the glove industry was booming. Yeah, we had Top Glove, Hautalega, all these fantastically big companies, many factories. Top Glove had, I don't know, at that time was 30 something factories already. So I was looking at the whole place and I said, these people are doing and making gloves. Do they know anything about the basic science of gloves? Do they know how to tackle their problems when they have defects? Do they know all these things? And I realized by asking around that there was nothing in this area of teaching the people the basic science of latex in whatever products. And the glove at that time was the biggest, was growing very well. So I told PRNM, I said, look, if you can use me, why not? I have enough experience. I have enough teaching. I actually got my teacher's diploma in Australia as well. I didn't tell you that, huh? I spent a year
One
taking. So
one
I'm
more
actually
diploma,
a
yeah.
graduate teacher as well.
Okay.
So that was a good, from my part of for my training now, working out lesson plans, etc. So the approach was a lot more relevant in my training approach.
Yeah.
So now that's how I set up with PRIM. I told them, look, we need this, but you guys got to help me to get the participants, because no point, doing training when the industry is not interested or cannot send people. In the beginning was very good actually, but I find that Param, I'm not too sure whether you have the same experience, that most of my participants were chemical suppliers, not actually from the latex
In industry, yeah.
products manufacturers. They
Right.
were chemical suppliers because these people were so interested in learning how their products can be better used.
Yeah.
And I take my hat off to them. They persistent, they persevere, and most of my classes are for them actually. So the other problem I find was my participants have insufficient background on science, on colloid science. So our approach to all our courses had to really be starting from basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then taking them back up to useful things. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the chemical suppliers, because they had to do the technical service, for how to use their chemicals properly, what kind of problems. So they definitely come to the training program. But
Yes.
industry, they don't find the people time for the people to go out for the training program. Okay, in industry, product manufacturers, they like to, if they can have the training program at in-house compared to the public training program. Yeah. So you have done in-house programs also, right? In-house training.
Yes. In fact, we did some very good ones with one medium-sized SME, Comfort Rubber. We had 2 or 3 times with Ansel, both up north and also down south, in-house. So this defects course that I was telling you about, we have actually carried it through twice because they were quite happy with it. They actually asked for repeats. So the in-house were about 25 participants each time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had very good reviews from them, which was good because that supported us in the sense that we were going the right direction and our approaches were correct.
Yeah. So, okay, now you are the president of PRIM. Yeah. So, what is your vision for the PRIM?
Okay, we run some courses like the diploma, but that's only just nationally industry recognized. It's not even considered a Ministry of Education kind of recognition accredited course. So it was my aim, and still is, that one day we can bring our courses, at least our diploma, which has been going on for many, many years and very successful as far as the industry people are concerned, to a new level of recognition. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to do for PRI is to say, okay, we take part in standards and specifications, and which we are now doing quite. We have a lot of representatives sent in. Okay, so now we are beginning to have a lot of collaboration with other PRIs. We have PRI Sri Lanka. We have one again with we just recently formed collaboration with RF, which is associate of Rubber Elastomeric Federation. So in Bangkok, and we are perhaps also looking at. We also actually do a lot of national university approaches. We run the international symposium, or we contribute to it. And we support them financially. We support them with ideas. Yeah. So that kind of direction is good. We're doing, but what I want to do is take PRM to a new level of recognition, so
Yeah.
that at least the industry can gain from what we know. My peers, my committee members are all as old as me, okay, and
Yeah.
very experienced in dry rubber, you know, across the board. So we're not going to take it with us when we go, okay? We have to share.
Yeah. 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 So now let's talk about the Malaysian rubber industry. How is situation in Malaysia rubber?
Okay, that was a very good question you asked me to talk about. And you are so lucky because I just attended a very good presentation by the president of the Malaysian Rubber Products Association, Manufacturers Association, Mr. KK Yao.
Yeah.
And he has kindly actually shared with me. I mean, I was so impressed with his presentation. He actually tackled precisely this problem that you asked. What are the challenges to our rubber industry? Many people say, oh, it's a sunset industry, it's not interesting, it's dirty, it's horrible, it's too taxing, too tedious. But he delivered a new approach to us to help this people to say, okay, no, it is not sunset. It's actually just we just need new directions, new way of doing things. In fact, he is very gainful of the one day we will reach IR4 industry IR4, which is really so much digital, so much data. And in our current rubber industry, you can understand how difficult that is. Yeah.
Yes.
So variable, so and now with all these new challenges of ESG, EUDR, the EUDR and sustainability. So challenges to the Malaysian rubber industry is, according to Mr. Yao, there are five areas, the 5M. I will share with you what he tells us. So what are the 5Ms? The most important is manpower. That's the number one, manpower. And I just want to spend a little bit of time on that because that's what we're doing. We're trying to get better manpower, more qualified.
Yeah.
But the question is, where is the succession? We have a lot of factories and companies here run SMEs, basically, probably family things, parents manage to do well. But where is the younger generation? Not very interested. So how do we change that mindset? That So manpower is the first most important. And then he also talked about machines, right? With machines, obviously, a lot of our rubber industry machines are outdated. We all recognize that. So we need to think, how can we actually change our design, whatever equipment design that is technology based to start with, obviously. Yeah. So one good example is obviously now the continuous glove dipping lines. We are automating, we are doing all kinds of things that is helping the industry. So that's the way to go. That's the way to go. I was just reflecting on when you asked that. I thought I should just quickly summarize the chronological order of this exam glove, how it has progressed since I went through the whole thing.
Mm.
So in the beginning, you had no leaching, everything was sticky, tacky, and you had loads of powder just to do, at stripping, we were manual stripping. What happened at packing? We had to count 100 and then stick it in the box, So that kind of so labor intensive things. We didn't even know about chlorination. And then the next stage was chlorination. Well and good, fantastic. We are getting beautiful gloves, but the process was so uncontrolled. We used giant tumblers to wash, and then we have to use giant dryers to dry. And then what happens? The wet gloves got to turn inside out for both sides to be chlorinated, and the whole place was flooded. The factory floor, I can tell you that. I had no pictures, but see, those were the memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the poor workers were always drenched in water.
Mm.
And that is not good. Their fingers were always, parched and whatever. We had many workers. The staff turnover was bad.
Mm.
Yeah, everybody was exposed to chlorine vapors the moment it opens, whatever. And if you didn't neutralize it well, the whole bunch was lost. That sort of heavy, loss generating processes which we couldn't control. Our ovens were never graduated. The exhaust was so badly done. So our kiosks were very variable. That sort of thing. So now it's forgotten from that. How do we progress? Okay, first thing was we couldn't do anything much about packing because we were still stuck with this 100 pieces or by weight or by count. So then the only first step change was powdered gloves. Oh, we could strip it online, right?
Mm.
We could strip it online, and because of that, there was prototype auto packing came in. Strip and count and go into the box.
Mm.
But can we do that with chlorinated gloves? Cannot, right? So at that time, everything was batch wise. You do offline chlorination, offline neutralization, offline drying, and then you have this big 25,000 lot of gloves. What do we do? Still the same packing 10. So I wanted to share with you some very interesting thinking of trying to automate packing of this bunch of very 25,000 gloves. So it's not quite the same as already stripped and automated online. This is the whole 25,000, all one big chunk of it. How do we even start thinking about automation? So maybe I've seen some very prototype equipment and they didn't work, but the idea was there anyway. I'm not going to elaborate that one because that is sort of proprietary to the people trying to design it. Yeah. So basically that didn't work. So the next stage was we have to also chlorinate online. That's why the new lines now have chlorination, an alternative polymer coating, alternative, and lots of leaching because studies have shown that we need to leach out all the surfactants, leach out all the water solubles to make sure that the gloves at the end of the day is non-tacky, clean, and don't block. So you see the change over the years, over the of the technology, and it is all driven by pressure to cut loss, and to improve working conditions. So that's my summary.
So the machine material, whatever you say, 5Ms. You talk about the.
Okay. Yeah. Let's come back to this one. It's manpower, machines, methodology. Okay. Now your methodology. Yeah. The methods. QMS best practices. All your SOP should be, properly written out. Use 3D printing. Now you can have new 3Ds to help you do prototypes and R&D and or whatever things that we do. The management leaders got to come and initiate everything.
Yeah.
And then of course you can look at it from materials, new materials. Now we have new pure systems, new accelerator free systems. So all these things need to be done. Biomass, yeah.
Mhm.
So for sustainability. So recycle. Look at our materials to recycle. And then of course the last and most important thing is how we market our product. So the
Marketing.
5 M's. Okay, the
Yeah.
5 M's: manpower, machine, method,
Methodology, yeah.
material,
Material,
and
and
marketing.
marketing.
This is
Yeah.
Mr.
So,
Yao, and I thought it was really very
yeah.
well put.
It is. It is. I think Mr. Yao put together nice, correctly in the correct in way. What are the challenges and what's the need to be done? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So maybe
Yeah.
the main challenge that I want to bring today is where do we find our succession?
Hmm.
The Z generation is into AI, Internet of Things, and all that. So that's the way we have to go.
Yeah. So
Rubber
overall, how
technology, we have to go.
yeah, how is the market in Malaysia in the latex industry now?
Okay, if you're talking about the raw
Business?
material upstream,
No, no,
upstream.
no. I'm talking about a glove industry. How is the glove
Oh,
industry
the
in the
glove industry.
yeah?
Now, from if you're talking about just the glove industry and not latex products per se,
Hmm.
I have been holding discussions with a lot of the producers, and they say it is still very quiet.
Okay.
Average selling price is still very low.
Hmm.
Although there is a small amount, 10% now, I think, of recovery of their old capacity. Yeah, this is not new capacity. We're talking about because they lost a lot of capacity when
Hmm.
during the last 2 years, right? 2022 and 2023.
Hmm.
Actually, after COVID and competition from China, competition. So as far as Malaysian producers are concerned, we have actually been rather stagnant
Okay.
in the market.
Hmm.
I was told that the next quarter they will pick up some,
Hmm.
and but the share prices are not showing it. The market
Yeah.
share prices are not showing it. Yeah, people are still very skeptical.
Yeah.
Although we hope, obviously, they were saying that oh, it was because there was so much stockpile from before, so they had to sell off all the stock at such ridiculously low prices. But
Hmm.
there is hope. There's a new hope coming in that the next quarter will be better.
Yeah. So let's look at your 50 plus years in the industry. If I ask you, what are your biggest challenge that you've experienced in over 50 years?
If you're talking about my personal experience on, it is this thing that where I told you that I had to work in a male dominated, truly male dominated industry, and being one of the first people to experience that, it is so, how do you call it, you need guts, you need to be very thick skin, you need to have you know not cannot be emotional about it.
Hmm.
So that, from my point of view, personal challenge, that is what pushed me,
Hmm.
that I had to make sure that whatever I do is as good as them, as good
Hmm.
as the male,
Hmm.
or better.
Hmm.
We should, because to me, there's no such thing as gender preference in any field. But then that is the real fact. You know, most of the rubber industry people are male, and they're all, the CEOs are male, the big leaders are male, and where are the females? They're all mainly, like I say, in the labs or in the, but hopefully things are changing. Yeah, hopefully things are changing. You're getting R&D managers and directors as female. Okay, that again is because you're putting them in this kind of clean environment, somewhere where they can, they're not exposed to shop floor. So that to me, I think has to change. People, with the new automation and all that, things are going to be very good. So we can be gender neutral. So that is my personal. But as far as the industry is concerned, the challenge, in my opinion, will be how to get uh, people back in the industry to like the industry. Recently, our Malaysian Rubber Council had set up this economic seminar workshop talking about where we're going to progress from there. We had a lot of contribution from the Malaysian Rubber Board and very useful contributions about how we can sustain this industry, how we can progress. But at the end of the day, to me, the whole new challenge to the rubber industry is we must get people interested back into the system.
Yeah.
That is the real challenge.
Mm.
And governments must support. You see, Thailand is doing very well now, as far as I can see. Your research, expanding, your so many people in your universities are taking an interest. Yeah. Whereas that is in a sense missing here. It's
Oh.
missing in Malaysia.
Mhm.
So we don't encourage enough in that. We leave everything to the Malaysian Rubber Board, which is LGM,
Mhm.
and hope that things will come out from that, which is really not fair because it should be a collective effort, starting with the Malaysian Ministry of Plantations, Agriculture. See, we have a very different set of conditions and issues from Thailand. Yeah,
Mm.
our smallholders are not tapping enough. Our production is very low. We import too much. Oh, import a lot so that because we have to use it. So yeah, and then we have competition from synthetic latex, which is now uh, our nitrile is 65% production, in 35 only with natural rubber. If we want to go the way of natural rubber back, promoting it, then it is a very big challenge that we have to find ways and means how to make NR equivalent even better
Yeah.
in products that SR cannot meet.
Mhm. And in Malaysia, how is the situation about rubber technology education in the universities? Are there many students enrolling for rubber technology program in universities?
Actually, currently our universities are not into they do polymer. They do
Okay.
general polymer studies and all that, but they are not into specifically rubber. We
Okay.
don't have a college that is for rubber.
Mhm.
Unlike UK, when we had the NCR, National College of Rubber Technology, we had Ladbroke, which is a very full program.
Yeah.
We don't actually have that, which is something that PRI may want to promote and say, tell the government it's time we do
Mhm.
something like this. Yeah,
Mhm.
something that we focus only on rubber. But then you see, we also have an issue of our oil palm.
Mhm.
Our palm oil prices are far better than rubber.
Yeah.
So, how many people would want to stay and do research?
Mhm.
LGM has done some very new products. I don't know whether their technology day just last week. They had
Oh,
so
okay.
many new things that came on. Yeah,
Mhm.
ceramic tiles that is now rubberized, road
Mhm.
rubberized.
Mhm.
Many new ideas,
Mhm.
which hopefully they can translate to commercial. Yeah.
Yeah. Innovation is very important. Innovation. Yeah. So
Yes.
for the rubber industry. Yeah. So finally, before I end the session, what is your advice to young people, young women, and also young people overall, you know, to
What is my
join? Yeah,
advice? You're asking the old people to advise young people.
hey, that's your experience, long experience. Yeah. So yeah.
The thing is, we so the as I see it, and as Mr. Yao has actually really put it in not so many words. We must change the rubber technologies, and the things that we use, the processes we use to make products now. We must take it a step higher so that the young people can see there's hope and there's interesting things to learn with new technologies, AI, Internet of Things. Use those approaches. I mentioned 3D printing as one of the newest. So all these things that will aid, and they like these things. Young people like these things, computer stuff, which is work from home, things that if they can do from home, why not? Yeah. And if you can manage a rubber factory from home, that would be the best.
Wow.
You can produce, well, of course, it can never be completely, simply because the raw material we start with is so variable to size. So you cannot do a full thing. You cannot fully automate the whole technology.
Right. Yeah.
So, but make it clean, make it safe, make it fun. Maybe FUN is the word, fun.
Yeah. Then more young people will come if it make it fun. Yeah.
Now that is the real challenge. How to make this fun.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I have one more point to ask you. Yeah. You are living with another legend, Mr. Kai Pong, in your home. Yeah, your husband. Can you talk about the two rubber technologies, two latex, people staying together and at home as well? So, can you tell about your husband, his experience, or your, with association with him? Yeah.
Okay, so basically you got to understand first. I am hands-on shop floor, all that sort of stuff. He is techno-economics. So for him, his mainstay is telling me, rubber market not very good, glove market good, that sort of things. So I am either encouraged or discouraged. But when it comes to he's a full-fledged technologist as well.
Right. Yes.
He worked so many. He was head of the technical service for rubber RRI for many years. So, as far as dry rubber and latex technologies, he is very well versed. So, but maybe I do more shop floor things, so which he is not so. So one thing we do, Param, is we agree to disagree.
Okay. Yeah, good.
We argue a lot. So, but we end up with saying that we agree to disagree, and that's our premise.
I see. Wow. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but he's very well versed. In fact, he's going to deliver a paper at University Pertanian in a few days, precisely on what is the economy, rubber industry situation in Malaysia, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Bit depressing.
Yeah. Let's hope for the best. Yeah. So. Okay. Thank you very much. It's a really wonderful discussion, wonderful conversation. Learn about you. You went to UK. You work in Thailand. You were in Malaysia. You went to Australia. Wow. And you work in the lab. You work on the shop floor. Wow. Amazing journey. Yeah. And you mentioned about male dominant rubber industry, and you made a good journey for us to learn, to inspire, get inspired from your journey. For every woman, not only woman, every young person, how to excel in their career. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So just to say, the final milestone is that I am the first lady president for PRIM.
Ah, yes.
So it worked.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes, okay.
I hope this session has been useful to everybody who's listening.
Well, definitely it is. It is a learning, and it's good to know about your journey. It's nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, guys, that's a session today with Madam Chris Pong. She's president of the Plastics and Rubber Institute Malaysia. I'm hoping that your session is useful to you. It's a very interesting journey. I see her, the what you call the stubbornness, the strength, the aggressiveness, and dynamism. I want to use a lot of adjectives and at the same time persuasive to do things, in the rubber industry. And once again, kudos to Madam Chris Pong for her all hard work, and now she continued to educate the younger generation through PRIM. I think there are a lot of programs. PRIM is also evolving their educational programs for the rubber industry, latex industry. So I think it's in the good hands, and pleased to know that she is the first president of the PRIM as well. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. See you. Any